Hello there, it's Jay here from Jay's Vintage Junk, and we're back on with the old Quickshot joystick USB conversion. I've got the stick stripped back down and I've got it connected up to the Sega emulator here. And just show the actual, all the soldering that I've done previously was actually working absolutely fine. If we have a quick look on here, I've just got it set up to define the keys. So let's just click on this so we can define the keys again, and we can press up. I don't know if you can actually see this here, but basically it changes on this line down there on the screen. Then that's down, left, and right, which weren't working the other day. And then we've got button A, B, C, and start, and it takes all them in straight away. I'll just get rid of the rest. There are a few more buttons. Obviously, it can take a lot more buttons, but we don't have them on this controller to actually use. I did try doing something with M2 switches there, but I just can't. I don't know whether the switches have basically gone very intermittent inside. I do remember we was having a few issues with them switches, and they would be a very limited use in this project anyway, so I'm actually going to leave them for now. I'm going to concentrate on getting this working as a 3-button Sega controller, which is really what the guy wants it to do, and providing it does that well, I think we should be there with it, really. So as you can see, I've got Sonic loaded up there. I've just configured it. We press start, that pauses it, unpaused, and I mean, we're playing literally on a circuit board here, but I think we can prove that it definitely does work. You know, I can jump, I can kill myself like that. It might be a bit easier to work when we've actually got this thing set up properly. But anyway, we've got right, we've got left, right, we've got look up, we've got look down, we've got 1 fire button, 2 fire buttons, and 3 fire buttons. So what I think I'll do is I'll reassemble this now in the case, and we will just give it a full final test. Let's unplug that for this second. I think the reason actually why it wasn't working and was only getting 2 buttons to work last time was actually when I was putting it back in this case here. I think I might have got that slightly out of alignment. It's really easy to get that like set like that or like that, as where I think we probably had it set like that, so some of them were actually controlling, but the other ones weren't quite pressing where they should go. So it is a note, you've got to make sure when you reassemble these that you get them 2 little loops and them posts there lined up properly, or else you will have funny little issues like that. Anyway, let's put all these bits back in, and we'll reassemble it, and we'll take it from there. And hopefully, like I said, it will play nicely this time. Take the board. The board goes in that way. Make sure we get all this to line up. And even though we're not using these switches, at least for the moment, we do want them to go in the proper locations and everything. Make sure that goes back on there okay. That seems like it's lined up alright there. Make sure that switch is in. That feels like it's in position. So I'll just hold this down for a sec and get a screw in it. Just get a screw in there. It's always a little bit easier once you get at least a couple of screws in, so it starts to hold in position. Right, hold that like that. Let's get this for screwing. That's screw number 1 in. Let's put screw number 2 in. Once we've got them 2 in, like I say, it's a little bit easier because I can let go of the board and we can check that everything's properly lined up without it all springing back out. So that's looking okay there. That seems to be lining up quite nicely. All them are lining up where they should go. So let's stick some more screws in. We'll pick them up. Stick this one in here. Like that. I think that one, yeah, that one's that hole there. I think. I don't know. Oh no, I'm in the wrong hole there. It should be that hole there. They're quite important because they're next to the that's better, that's much better. And we've got one there that we need to go in. We'll put that one in there. Okay. Right, so that's it. That's all them screws back in. Let's put the cable back in. Make sure that lies down nice and flat. Let's put the back on, and hopefully we can give it another go. And this time, all the controls will function as intended. Screwing. Screw in. We'll screw the front back together. There we go. Right, that's all back together now. So they don't now. So basically, slow motion, turbo fire, and player 1, player 2 don't do anything, but all the other buttons do as they should do on a standard Sega controller. So hopefully, if we plug this back into the computer, I think we'll have to. Oh no, it's detected it. That's interesting. We seem to have exactly the same problem again. Look, we can go up and down. All the fire buttons work, but we have no left and right. Now that is odd. Let's take it apart and have another look. Back in a pip. Okay, well, I've just whipped the back off it, and this is most interesting. So I've just taken the back off. If we get it round now, as we can see, it seems to work absolutely fine when I've got the back removed. As you can see, it works absolutely hunky-dory. So let's try and find out why sticking the back on it is causing it to stop working. And I have a feeling I've actually found it straight away here, and it looks like it's my fault. I think what's happened, yeah, I've actually caught, when I put the back on, I've caught couple of the wires here. So let's try moving them out of the way. In fact, let's just what we'll do, where's my snips? So I'm going to just snip off this cable tie that I put on there, like that, and so I can basically just so I can move these wires a little bit further away from where I had that connection there. Let's just push them slightly out of the way like that, and let's see whether that, when we put the thing back together, is going to solve the problem. I'm feeling it was just them wires getting trapped and getting pushed down onto that contact point there. So we'll put it back together again now, because if you look now, he is moving left and right absolutely fine. put the base back on. Bang the screws back in it, and we'll see whether it plays again now. Hopefully it should. This last screw in there. Okay, let's have a go now. Moment of truth. There we go, that was it. As you can see, I'm not the best Sonic player in the world, I'll happily admit that. But he does everything Sonic's meant to do, as you can see. We can go back. He looks up. He looks down. Let's get on something flat. Yeah, he goes down, he goes up. This way. Oops, that hurt. Okay, well, he's dead. But anyway, as you can see, we now have a fully. Let's try the game again. Just check that the start button works. Let's load Genesis. It's unfortunate because I've only got the one Genesis ROM on this thing, so we are limited to Sonic. But as you can see, we've got it booted up there. Sonic Team Presents. In fact, let's have some sound for this final little playthrough. There's no fun playing Sonic without a bit of sound, is there? Oh. At least I thought we should be able to get some audio through, but we're not getting any. Never mind. But anyway, what we can do is, like I say, we'll press start. Don't have to we don't have to redefine it on this thing every time we. Oh, hang on. It's because the mixer's up into. Turn that down. Right. Start. And why is start not working? I'm just, hang on, let's just try and reconfigure the buttons. Set config, define, and then so lets us go through them all again. So that's up, down, left, right, A, B, C. And the start button, yeah, that all works fine. Enter, 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 enter. So now, yeah, that's all working fine. Pressing start starts it. And we can play Sonic. There we go. Left, right. So I'm not terribly familiar with these emulators because personally I don't really do emulation. I prefer the original hardware, but like I said, each is to their own. I can understand why emulation is good. I mean, there is no latency, there's no lag on this controller at all. As soon as I press the button, it's just like playing the original hardware. It really is. Let's get back there. I don't think I can quite. Need a run up. There we go. No, there's no lag or anything on this. It's quite surprising. I was expecting there to be some lag, especially with emulation, especially you know, like USB, the processing involved in everything. You'd expect there to be a little bit of lag somewhere, but there really isn't. I don't know if you could say the same if you was using perhaps one of them little boxes that converts a standard joystick into USB. People have said that they can be, you know, give a tiny little bit of lag on them. I've never used one, so I don't really know. As where this, honestly, I can't say there's any lag at all. It really is very responsive. I'm quite surprised in that respect. Anyway, like I said, like I was doing in the other video, I've just started playing Sonic and rambling on rather than actually getting on with the video. So, as you can see, anyway, the stick does now work as we intended it to. It is now a vintage Quickshot joystick with one standard USB socket on it. So I'll have a word with my my viewer who requested me to do this and see whether he'd be happy with it as it is, or whether he does want me to go further and perhaps replace this cable with USB. The only problem I've got with that is to do it really neatly. I hate cutting into such a pristine case as this. The plastic is in really good condition, and I'd have to like Dremel a piece out there and fit a socket in, and then I'd have to find something that's got a USB socket, hopefully in black, which I could use the moulding from, because I wouldn't like just cut a slot in there and Dremel it in and stick a USB socket in there. I think it'd look really tacky. I'd actually have to find something with a USB socket on that I could cut some of the plastic out and perhaps just recess it in there with the socket on, possibly from like an old Ps3 controller or something like that. But I mean, that's got about a meter cable on it. I mean, for storage wise, I mean, that cable is really nice and easy to store actually. Let's put the twist tag back on it. It's certainly a lot more convenient to store than the old dual cable setup that it had, which was a bit of a rat's nest, I must admit. I mean, I don't think that looks too untidy, to be honest. So it's up to him though. I will pursue it if he really wants me to, but it is probably quite a lot more work. I think that looks quite a nice, neat solution. Like I say, it's entirely up to him though. But we have got it working. We've got the goals we wish to achieve. The start button works, A, B and C fire buttons work, and the joystick itself works really nicely. Like I said, it's nice and responsive. I will look at adding a little bit of weight to it for him, because they are quite a light stick, these. Probably cut a piece of non-corrosive metal, a piece of brass or something, to fit in the base and glue it down, just to give it that tiny little bit more of a weighted feel to it. But apart from that, I think is pretty much done. Like I say, it's a bit of a shame we couldn't get them buttons to do anything, but they'd have a limited use anyway, with being that they're actually switches rather than a momentary button, and the controllers are really expecting momentary buttons, these USB controllers. But like I said, that's not the end of the world. You've got the main things, which is your directions and your A, B and C and your start button, that all work absolutely as intended and are configurable. Like I said, if you're using it with, say, a different system, and it's got the same like USB where you can configure what it does, you can always configure these buttons slightly differently. Anyway, like I said, I'm going to leave it there for now. Hope you enjoyed that little update on this. So thanks for watching and goodbye.